Hello everyone. Sonal along with Acquira Tech bring this Tech Talk series titled AI and You for delving into the world of AI. This series is aimed at bringing about an understanding of AI, how it impacts our world in terms of business and the AI ecosystem, and what's in AI for you and me as commoners as well. In this session today, we are going to be talking with Arnav Ghosh, consultant, Emerging Tech EMEA. Arnav's 2 decades of experience in emerging and immersive technologies solidify his role as a futurist and visionary at the intersection of tech, communications, and business. As a strategic advisor to startups and their enterprises across EMEA, he bridges innovation with real world impact, designing growth strategies, optimizing commerce platforms, and enhancing customer engagement through cutting edge solutions. His key impact areas are enterprise immersive tech, that is mixed reality, consumer focused WebXR and LLM creator tools. He has pioneered projects such as launching groundbreaking tools like the world's first Gen AI enabled XR visual search engine with Blipar, thus building on his legacy of innovation. Example Nike's mobile monetization platforms, UN's Copenhagen project. And in terms of academic leadership, he is a visiting faculty at NID and MICA, and as a guest faculty member with V School and other business schools in Mumbai and across the country. Arnav believes in shaping the next generation of innovators, teaching XR and digital product design with a focus on ethical, human centric applications. Welcome, Arnav.
Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you again.
So, here goes my first question. Given all the buzz around Gen AI, what would that translate for students and learners of AI, you think?
So I think we need to find a balance, especially in the Indian education, the new education policy, which is a very disruptive policy, which has been announced a couple of years ago. I think one of the things that we need to find a balance is where would Gen AI would probably come in as a influential tool for students. Given your question, what does it translate for students? I think it needs to be driven by probably within a governance framework as to where Gen AI would come in, both by the schools or the colleges or the universities. Number one. Number two, students will need to find a balance. Not everything that they look at responding to, or because Gen AI will not be able to decide the future. Gen AI is also essentially a set of data that it learns on, improves itself, and tries and answers your questions. So it needs to be looked upon as a friend who's there to assist you whenever you need it, not to replace your hard work. I think it's aiding students. I think it's a transformative tool. All of us know. Number one, it is as I said, it offers both opportunities and challenges to students or to anybody for that matter. But because your question was focused more on students, I think enhanced learning tools. It creates opportunities to enhance learning. I mean, um, given our times when we were studying, if we really looked down upon opportunities where, hey, if we had this tool, maybe we could have done more or we could have done better, right? But also, I think Gen AI, as I said, Gen AI will not be able to replace your mind. It's an aid, and you have to find. You can't surrender your mental fortitude, your intelligence to Gen AI, right? It has to be a balance between what you think or a mix of your gut and a mix of your ability to create use Gen AI to do multiplier effect. So I think enhanced learning, it personalizes a lot of how do I call it, tutoring. If you are if you're looking at complex subjects that needs to be broken down, you can essentially mold. I mean, in our days, you might want to look Gen AI as a super efficient tutor. It breaks down complex subjects, gives you code assistance, which is one of the key pillar uh, of a new education policy where encourage students to be coders. You use Copilot, you use GitHubs of the world to understand and enhance or discover your coding skills or discover coding literally. Visual learning, uh, tools like Mid Journeys, it creates diagrams, illustrations. Uh, Tools like Gamma AI and Prezi allows you to create presentations. I mean, it will do everything that you ask for, but it should not replace your core intelligence and thinking.
Right. Thank you, Arnav. Okay, I love the fact that you're trying to bring to the notice of students that, this is not going to be just useful in terms of kind of a cheat sheet that you're going to use for your projects. Okay, so during the talks that we've had earlier, I mentioned to you that I also teach using Google Colab and the prompt engineering, the bit where we are going to use the entire generative AI to be able to generate all of the code that really helps not as a teacher but more for students where they have a bias against whether I do want to do coding or no, being a business student. Since you mentioned AI agents, would it be fine if I ask you to simplify in your terms as to what AI agents would be? So we are talking not just of students for B schools or students of any program for that matter, but even for the professionals, right? So there are a lot of people who get in touch with me, and I'm sure with you as well, who say that I want to learn more about AI agents. So what courses can I take, or can you just simply tell me what it is? So your perspective of AI agents and its applications in business today.
Mostly, AI agents are supposed to get the job done. For layman,
Mhm.
what an AI agent could be something that that you'd and me could kind of make them understand, right? But if you really look at say a little bit technical conversation on AI agents, right? They could be defined as autonomous entities
Perfect.
that definitely leverage AI,
Right.
to perceive environment, and they make their own decisions and execute actions.
Perfect.
But that's true for any AI node, right?
Right.
And obviously they operate with essentially varying degrees of independence, and what they do is, depending on the kind of rich data sets they're trained on and experiences, they could also work without direct human intervention. I mean, for example, if you have to find a solution uh, to your banking needs at 2 a.m. in the morning,
Right.
right? We generally uh, are are people who don't who would like to talk to the customer care, right? We need somebody, a physical human talking to us,
Yeah.
because we feel we are more behaviorally, we are more kind of at we trust them, we are at peace, right? So but the point is, a lot of these AI agents today, depending on who you are and where do you want to use it, right? They op- they might operate independently, so they're autonomous, right?
Right.
Mostly, right? Then they will have they use some sort of sensors or data inputs that you might want to train them on,
Right.
say images and text, to ensure that they understand your environment, right? Then you need to use, I mean, depending on, again, how much of how much of progressive AI agents you want that model to be, you might then use machine learning and some sort of reasoning tools to ensure that the decision making capability should be at certain level, right? And
Right.
then you then want to deploy some sort of an execution model for them, right? Say, do they send, uh, if it's a if your model is on software, do they send notifications?
Right.
If it's a hardware, do they send, do they do robotic movements, for example, right? And learning and adaptation. I mean, how quickly are, because it self learns based on reasoning and ML,
Right.
right? It self learns and improves its performance through its understanding of data and the experience that is exposed to. But there are different kind of AI agents that one could think of. One, if you might want to see, there are reactive agents, which responds to you know um, an immediate some sort of a reaction, a stimulus.
Right.
Then there are learning agents which use recommendation engines to kind of create uh, or adapt via those systems. Then there are hybrid agents. In terms of applications, you might want to look at virtual assistants like the one that we have on our phones.
Sure.
Siri and Alexa,
Right.
which uses natural language
Yeah.
interaction. You
Right.
have healthcare. You have diagnostic tools. You have finance, algorithmic trading, fraud detection. You have robotics, drones and warehouse robots, which is being used a lot nowadays. Then you have customer service, as we mentioned, because that is more relatable to us, which is chatbots. And you have gaming, which is again a lot of us don't, people who play games, they would know that they're non-playing characters. So they're intelligent non-playing characters who essentially
Yes.
induce you to take a certain action, right?
Right.
They are also a certain they are also AI agents you need to look at, and technologies which really drive them. As I said before, computer vision, which is AI to see or AI for vision,
Right.
which sees facial recognition, deep fakes, and so on and so forth. Reinforcement learning, which looks at decision making through trial and error. Then NLP, which understands and try to kind of make text to speech or speech to text, whichever way you want to look at it. Machine learning, deep learning models, for predictive modules and pattern recognition. So there are a lot of agents that you might want to talk to.
Sure.
But I think, as I said, this is we can have probably a extremely detailed, you know,
Session about
five
this.
hours, five
Sure.
hours on AI agents only. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't spoken about self-driven cars, right?
Correct.
So,
Sure.
yeah,
And so many of us think that AI agents are limited only to being chatbots, but you can also have collaborative agents, right? So one agent
of
talks to
course,
the other, goes
yeah,
across the layers, across the processes in the organization, and it might also connect with humans to be able to execute the goal. So goal-oriented
yeah,
agents we do
absolutely.
have.
Your ability of brain-computer interface, right?
Right. Yes.
um, yeah, that means that there is that middleware which connects, understands, interprets your thoughts, and creates actions based on your thoughts, right? um, so I think that's I think SpaceX has been trying to do that. Not
Right.
SpaceX, sorry. um, Elon Musk, I think in his one of his companies, the Tesla,
Mhm.
um, SpaceX or somewhere, but he's trying to evolve his process driven by AI agents.
Right. Sure. Thank you for that. I'm moving to the next question, which is about your
Sure.
domain. So we are given to understand that XR is an umbrella term which includes VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, and definitely mixed reality. So now
Right.
these technologies aim to blend the physical and digital environments to create immersive user experience. And while having talks with you, you also mentioned that you launched the world's first Gen AI-enabled XR visual search engine with Blipar. So what
Yep.
exactly was that, and how was your experience around it?
We were kind of wanted to be an innovation business. XR was not very popular. People didn't know
Oh,
what XR could do, and
yeah.
it was an app-driven business. And there are only very few companies or platforms which was doing XR, which were doing AR. XR is a term that you can use now, right? So I think fundamentally, the philosophy of visual discovery is what we called, right? Was one of the examples of how AI and AR can come together, right, and create exponential discovery of the world around us. The physical world is way more bigger than the digital world, right? And we wanted to use understanding of essentially XR or AR is essentially one piece is the phygital. You connect the physical world, the digital world, right? And whatever you do simulation with mixed reality, or you create a new kind of a module with VR or AR, right? It was essentially dependent on the physical world content as to what you deploy on top of it, right? Companies like Meta, Google, Microsoft, to a certain level, and a lot of other companies which have Samsung, for that matter, are investing heavily. Apple are investing heavily in XR, right? So I think our philosophy was very simple, and I think it still stands because because when we started doing that, marrying AI with XR, we wanted to create a case in point, and it was just not a POC. We wanted to create real world impact, right? So that it resonates with people who matters, and create a global product around it, right? So when we said visual search, we figured that you know sometimes yeah, I mean, me and you, we speak, we're educated, right? but but words are not enough, right? I mean, I think we sometimes take it for granted, our capability of language, right? You end up going to Shillong, you will not understand Khasi, or a lot of us will go to south, will not understand, a lot of us don't even understand what people are talking Malayalam, right? Until unless, yeah, you can use a software to translate that in real time, but essentially is that, right? What you see, understand the world around you, and then it translates real time as to what it is. So when we were doing this model, it was just not about blending AI to decipher the world around you. So AI was used to decipher, right, to create context and awareness, right? And AR was used to recognize that content and overlay that information on top of what you are seeing, right? So we used computer vision as a vision, it's AI for vision, right? And marry it with understanding the physical object, recognizing that, relaying the information real time to anybody who had access to a phone or data.
Okay. Thank you for sharing the experience with us.
Yep.
Okay. So going to the next one is XR provides a real feel experience, and when integrated with AI, it becomes a very powerful tool in areas such as training, simulation, remote assistance, and product visualization. So I'm deriving this from one of your sessions that I attended, and
Correct.
so can you speak about the technological convergence, a pet topic of yours, and with your great experience? So technological convergence of XR and AI in areas that you would like to, I think you would like to mention about L&D, healthcare, sustainability,
I
and
think
others. Yes.
the adaptive learning of AI, right,
Right.
and the immersiveness of XR, right, allows you to kind of blend both together when you are building learning and development programs. For L&D programs to integrate XR and AI, you need to have a vision, right? And most L&D programs will not come from the CMO budget. A lot of L&D programs come from an HR stroke CIO budget, right? So you
Sure.
would need to have an LMS, right? An evolved LMS where an AI or an XR tool can bake itself in, define scenarios, integrate analytics, and give you that the learning outcomes that you would want. Then a lot of these defense arms training, right?
Absolutely.
If you're doing small arms training, you're trying a new. It's expensive, right? You cannot have an actual live ammunition going around. It's very, very expensive. You're buying a new, acquiring new weapon systems. You have to have a simulation program to run it. Yeah.
Would this be a right platform to ask you to share your experience about the flight simulation and Modi ji who had come and actually visited one of the
Yes. Yes.
stalls,
So
right?
through
So,
yeah through
especially given our recent warlike situation that we've had. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
especially with my association with Parallax and
Parallax.
Krupalu, brilliant founder of Parallax. The idea is that we have already indigenous platforms, um, Tejas MK, MK1, MK2, AMCA, TEDF. So all of these platforms are there, but probably some we feel that we are not fast enough. But training for those modules are expensive, right? You People who want to train on small arms or anything that you're procuring or manufacturing, you have to have either getting trained them at a location close to where the manufacturing is done, right? So the model for a lot of the stuff that we have been doing, either with Cheetah Chinook simulators that we've built, either with either helicopter simulators, you're creating flight simulators for fighter aircraft. We also manage the For HAL, we manage the remote maintenance of Sukhoi, right? But a lot of the stuff, as I said, is can't be spoken publicly, right? But largely, I think what the opportunity we saw was creating small cost impact modules through VR training, integrating AI, which you can carry as a small module wherever you want. Defense Ministry, the IITs of the world, the VCs of the world, they have come together, and there's a challenge they have created called IDEX, right? So that IDEX allows you to showcase your product. Parallax, you have won a lot of orders on simulation, and a flight simulator was awarded. And as you correctly said, at Def Expo, Modi ji was there, who kind of he spent 15 minutes to kind of look at the flight simulator that we have done, and I think it
Right.
was a great accolade, and not only accolade but validation of the adoption of that tech,
Yes,
right?
yes. And now, since this talk show is about AI and you, what in your view are going to be the game-changing business applications of AI? One, and the second question is about, as far as AI is concerned, most people think, what's in it for me as a commoner, especially with the ethical use of AI alone. So, knowing the fact that some people fear AI is going to take up jobs or being going to be used unethically.
I think in terms of business application, you need to break it down to understand what is scalable, what is innovative, and what could be disruptive.
Perfect.
Disruptive need not be scalable, because disruptive is always which will scale slowly, right? Because there is cost of acquisition, cost of use cases. How there are different ways to manage that piece, right? So for me, I think AI business application could be hyper personalized, customer experience,
Right.
right?
Sure.
You're looking at dynamic marketing, a lot of the recommendation engines, right? That comes to you. We already have recommendation engine. We are already in the trap of what we see is we are flooded with what we see, what we talk, what we type is we're surrounded by that content. Given because we have social sign-ins, right? We generally for any transactions, either e-commerce, quick commerce, we have a number, right? So there are AI models which are deployed, or AI agents which are deployed, which will take your number, create a persona, and based on your persona, start to create and fit it into a recommendation engine, right?
Correct.
Amazon already does it.
Yep.
Maybe they want to do that a little better, right? So I think, and then the entire concept of advertising, right? How
Okay.
ads programmatic, how the way the programmatic processes or the ad inventories are being kind of used for retargeting, remarketing, right?
Uh-huh.
Those are going to be more specific uh, to the audience that they're talking to, and we are talking to different kind of audiences. So you have customized products, Nike creating AI powered designs.
Sure.
So Nike's AI generated shoe designs, for example. Um, Coca-Cola's AI created flavors, for example,
Right. Right.
right? So I think um, behavioral data is going to be more dependent, more persona driven, if it is not more. I think genomic data
Yes.
by permission so AI would use a genomic data, analyze
Perfect.
your genomic data, and create personalized plans, treatment
Perfect.
plans. And I think
Right.
IBM Watson uses similar plans for oncology.
Yes, it does.
And I think one more, there is DeepMind, which uses similar model to for protein discovery,
I
right?
see. Sure.
So you have drug development,
Right.
diagnosis. Those are the disruptive innovation. And if you really look at the other pieces which are scalable, is financial fraud detection, uh,
Perfect. Yes.
algorithmic trading, right? You
Yes.
use AI to do trading. Then you energy optimization. You essentially using how it balances power grids to
Perfect.
essentially ensure that the optimizes power. So I think there are hundreds of applications, but these are the
True.
top few that one could understand here.
Absolutely. Sure. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Arnav, for this amazing talk. just
Yeah.
fascinating to take a deep dive into so many things. AI with Gen AI, XR, business applications of AI, what's in it for me, and especially talking about chat GPTs and the like, and that the students should be using it more as a tool for understanding deeper aspects of it, of whatever they are looking at, whatever topics, and not just to create reports or presentations. Amazing. I just love this talk, and
And I think the ultimate for the first question to the last question, I think, you need to ensure that everything that you do with AI is ethical AI, unethical AI. It is about
absolutely
safety. Your own identity and your own safety is, you
paramount.
feel that, hey, is paramount. So I mean, my advice to anybody who wants to have a career in AI or want to use that
Mhm.
is, don't use it like a free fall. Use it as your friend, but not somebody who wants to. Don't trade your soul for AI. That's what I want.
Sure.
Yeah,
So it can be like a co-pilot. It can be like a guide for you. In one of the panel discussions, most people were asking me negative questions about AI. So I said I'm that one person AI evangelist, and I think you belong to the same tribe, Arnav. Right.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so
yeah. I
much for
mean,
today.
listen, Pink Floyd had a song
Okay.
written long time ago,
Uh-huh.
right?
Hmm.
In one of the songs, it says it's a famous song, but one of the lyrics it says, um, I mean, I think if I'm able to say it correctly,
Okay.
um, you know, you don't sell your soul to lose control, right?
Awesome.
So
Beautiful.
don't make AI your soul, right?
Perfect.
So yeah, so that's where I wanted to end it. Thank you
Lovely.
so much for the opportunity and great to speak to you as always.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes. Looking forward to a few more sessions, many more sessions. And
yeah, absolutely. Thank
thank
you so
you.
much.